You're listening to the Elevated News Podcast with two dope dudes. Here are your hosts, Dave and Aaron. Welcome to the Elevated News Podcast with two dope dudes. We're a podcast focused on discussing local and national cannabis news and culture. I'm Aaron.
I'm Dave.
Yeah, we're the two dope dudes. Welcome to the
First edition.
The first edition evolution of what will be some changes that have been a long time coming, but we are now enabled to get them done, and it's pretty fucking cool.
We had a red wall before, and now we got a red couch with a red wall. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Appreciate you.
Actually, when I saw it, I was like, get the fuck, this is fire.
Yeah.
I like relax.
You like to chill in? We can be like this?
Yeah. I feel good about this.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think it's, it's going to be more fun. But we also, because of the space here, some of what you might not be able to see is there's another smaller couch and another chair and whatever. We have more space to bring more people in and have more conversations. So thank you again, Charlie and Rochelle.
Yeah, and we look forward to some upcoming guests that we're probably going to book around March.
If you're looking for some growing supplies.
Yeah, come here. Low Bean Grow Shop in DeKalb, 650 North Peace Road.
Yeah, Yeah. And if you don't know about growing and you need some knowledge, these people know some stuff, and they have got some of the best product back there. Come see our friends here.
Yep.
Appreciate the hell out of them doing what they're doing for us. And great spot.
Yeah,
come
great
check
spot.
It out.
Yeah, super fun. Love them. Shit. What else is new?
Not a whole lot. Just I'm trying to think. Really, I just got older. I took another lap around.
Yeah, you had a birthday?
Yeah.
You're all of what, like 36 now? 35.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're almost to 40. Yeah, I know. I
remember
that.
We're not going to call it that. We're going to call
you're
it
5 years away from
35.
You're 5 years away from 40.
Hey.
Then you can play
I'm 5 years away from 30 also.
That's true.
I'm going to be more optimistic.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, I remember I was there once. I remember what it was like.
No, it feels there's no like portal. We all know this. There's no craziness, but this year for some reason, I don't know if it was the weather or what, but boy, it's knocked it out of me. I'm taking a little bit longer to get back into full form. The back's not as strong as it was. The knees are a little bit more sore, So
yeah.
Back to the working out. But winter does it to you. And we're coming out of the winter. The sun has been shining.
Yeah,
it's been beautiful.
We got disc golfing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we've been disc golfing lately. I almost beat you the other day for the first time ever.
Throwing very bad.
No, I know you were throwing terrible. I was also throwing really well.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm coming out of this. I got like I feel like arthritis in my hands. I've been taking CBD, rubbing some stuff into it. My right knee's been a little bit more sore, We were sitting, it was funny, my buddy I had a little party thing, kind of surprise, whatever, but there were people that I didn't know were all going to be there. It was like a bunch of old friends, people that have been around forever.
Yeah.
So my one buddy, Dave, he's like, hey man, he's like, look at all of us, dude. He's like, back in the day, we were like 18 sitting on the front porch smoking weed. He's like, now we're fucking 35 sitting at Garrio's, smashing some pizza, talking about all of our ailments. And
let's go Garrio's.
Garrio's is fire.
That's where the lions are, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
True story.
There's some...
there's lions behind that door. You ever opened the door at Garrio's?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man, that's where the lions are.
Of course.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You know me.
That was my parents' spot back in the day, man. We used to go to Garrio's all the time.
Really?
Yeah, at the old Garrio's.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super dope. Shout out Garrio's.
Yeah.
And the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah. We're getting older. That's it. Just every day. So take care of yourself. Respect your health. Know that it's deteriorating. It's really funny. Not really funny. Really fucked up, but really hit home for me. Dave, the other guy that I'm talking to, out of all the people that were sitting and in my gathering of friends, him and I are the only two who have consistently used cannabis and been more conscious of some of the health benefits and whatever. Both him and I are like the only two who don't have some serious health situation going on or some, And I was like, damn, it's kind of, I'm not like trying to be wild, but literally all of our friends that have gone off, or some do the drinking and some do whatever they do or whatever.
Yeah.
When we all came back together, it was really weird to just see that me and the one guy who stay pretty primarily cannabis centric, we both
Not so much
explored a little.
alcohol, etc.
No, we hit the psilocybin world a little
Yeah.
bit here and there, but very gently and nothing too aggressive. We both have been, and maybe just call it random luck
Yeah.
of the draw, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying anything, but that's why I say essential cannabinoids to some degree. I think regulating your immune system and your central nervous system and having your body play homeostatically is a beautiful thing, and you can do so with a little chooch magoo.
Play jars by Archive. Love them. Cherry Fizz, 1 gram live hash rosin. Super awesome. Get you some Archive if you can.
Wow.
Great stuff.
Holy wow. Tastes incredible.
Some of my favorite live hash rosin.
Hey, thanks, yo.
Yeah, thanks to the homies who started bringing out live hash rosin out here. You know who you are. Probably don't listen though. Well, everybody listens. 7 billion people, obviously.
Yeah, even more, I would say. Even more.
You want more of this?
Yeah, let me hit that one more again.
Yeah, you hit it. I was done. I got 2 nice hits. I didn't want to be too messed up.
I'm
but
ready to be chooched up.
Yeah. Speaking of getting cooked, let's can we talk about what we did the other day after we played disc golf?
Yeah,
because that was super fun, and I think that's a good local story.
Yeah, shout out to our friends over at M Cream. I believe I don't know I think it's still Aurora there.
It is technically Aurora.
Yeah, it's on the edge of Montgomery and Aurora,
Yeah.
but
On Oliver Lane.
It is called M Cream.
Mm-hmm.
They are a infused edible place dealing in Delta 9. Ice cream is their big play, but they also have tons of baked goods too.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's their big
cookies and
play,
stuff
but
like
it's
that.
you call it M Cream. You better be bringing the ice cream
Yeah.
game. And I had a 10 milligram cup.
Ice cream.
Yeah, right. Of
it was pretty reasonably priced too, right? It was like $10.99, $7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of those like the sherbet cups that you would get. You know what I mean? It's like that
4
size.
ounces, I think, is what it was. Packed full of flavor.
Yeah.
There were chunks of cheesecake in the
thing.
thing.
Yeah, you got the strawberry cheesecake. Yeah.
It was actually really good. And effectively speaking, I passed out pretty quick, which I know an edible is good when I pass out. Because that's just when I get too much edible, it's just nighttime. Especially I'm eating this thing laying in bed, okay? But for the girlfriend, she was like cooked up a little bit. She only had a few little bites of the thing. And so, consume responsibly is my thing, but also be a good boyfriend and stay up with your girlfriend while she's having
too many thoughts.
Yeah. But if you're cooked up on the same thing she's cooked up on, then you're passing out too.
Bro, I got some 30 milligram ice cream that I haven't gotten into yet, but I also got some cookies, and I shared one with somebody, and we both ate one and thought it was great. Yeah. But I could have almost passed out that night. I was like laying on the couch and I was like, oh, I could go to sleep.
I genuinely, I have to tell you, I was impressed as far as edibles go. And and in the ice cream world, because it's some people haven't done it great. I haven't tried everybody out there. I've tried some people in the past. This is the first time I've tried ice cream since people have started to infuse way more
Right.
things. And I think there's a, what's it called? Jane and Mary's or
Jane and
something out
Mary's,
there.
yeah.
I haven't tried their stuff, so I'm not talking bad about anybody. I'm just telling you of what I've tried in the
Right.
past. Ice cream never seemed to really do anything. It was good, man.
Yeah, it was really
It was
good.
really good. I was very happy.
And from their website, it looks like all their stuff is derived from THCA hemp.
Yes, it's of course.
No, I
It's
mean like
very
legitimately, and like
100%.
they're doing something very well. This is not like now when we went in there, they were like they checked our IDs. There was a dosing chart. You know what I mean? They even like brought
I think
they brought them in baskets like they do at the dispensary.
the dosing chart was really cool
Yeah.
too because it had like a scale of where you should be depending on who you are and what your experience is with cannabis. And it started at 0 to 5 milligrams, which is I always try to warn people, and that's what like I feel bad because I wasn't as present with the girlfriend while she was going through her experience, but
somebody got in trouble, obviously.
Well, yeah, a little bit. Sorry, but anyway, I just to be aware that there is a level of intoxication that comes from this, and if you're intimidated by it, just I don't think we're talking a bunch of first time users, but well, there's 7 billion people listening, so of course we're listening. There's some of them.
Low and slow. We said it on the last podcast. Slow and slow.
Even just I'm not trying to hurt anybody with this thing. I'm not trying to be some public advocate for some snake oil or some shit. It's genuinely effective when used in the correct dosage, but when it's overconsumed or you're unsure of how you would respond if you overconsumed, then it's not beneficial to I mean, edibles are tough sometimes to tone in the right way. There's some things that you can go. Well, there's some things you can go over the top with real fast, and just be low and slow is what you said, but just be aware. You're heeding warning. I'm trying to give you warning. It's not like some oh my god you should be scared, but to understand that there is some intoxication that comes from it, and then what you do with it. I don't want to hurt you. Remember me saying this. I don't want to hurt you. I want to be your friend. I'm just trying to whatever, but it's if you can get into a space where you're in control again, which is anything, get on your phone for a little bit. Nowadays, those are hand
get off your
trinkets,
phone for a little bit.
Get off your phone for a little bit. Either way, watch a show. Get up and pace around. Move around. Well, it's nighttime. I got to go to bed. See, all those things that you're trying to tell yourself you have to do.
Yeah.
No, you don't. What you have to do is take this journey that this thing is giving you, go on the ride with it, and wherever it takes you, be the most comfortable with it. And to have racing thoughts and whatever, especially if you got somebody around you, just wake them up. Just be like, hey, you need to wake up because I'm struggling here. And, and when they say that the first time, when you're kind of in and out of sleep, you got to wake up, man.
Yeah. Well, and
anyway.
It can be hard too because you're like, sometimes when you build a tolerance, you're like, oh, I already know where you're at and you're fine. And it's that like, you'd never put anybody you love through something, hopefully, like something you haven't been through or, don't have experience. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So you're like,
I called you, I called you and we talked about it. And when we were talking about the experience that she had, we laughed, right? So later on, it was like, well, you guys laughed at what I went through. And I'm like, no. We are laughing because we've been there.
Yeah, because we've been there. Right, exactly.
Because I know exactly what you went through. And I think that that's some of the growing portion of this. Like, do you want to use cannabis? And if you do, why? Understand that it can give you some control of something that you didn't have control of before. That's been my whole take at it. So, if you want to take the journey with this thing, let it do its thing, and then but also find your place of control with it. And you know, I think I think we'll all be. What do you got going on over here,
Man,
man?
I'm trying to not make a bunch of noise, and I know I am. It is what it is.
It's all right.
I was trying to take off the headphones and set them down, but like, you know,
As long
we
as
got to get some. We're gonna get some microphone arms anyway. We talked about it. It's not a big deal.
This is a first. This is first edition of what we're doing here. And we would like, hey, are you listening? Do you like listening to us? Do you want to come sit down and have a chat with us? Let's talk about all things cannabis. Bring your perspective to it too. Come promote your product, whatever you might have. Let's talk about cannabis. I'm down to normalize the culture. I'm down to again try and help people overcome that initial paranoia or anxiety phase, right? The overthinking and the inability to get back in control of those things are things that I can help guide people through. And a lot of times there's tons of stuff. A glass of orange juice high in vitamin C, but also limonene.
Yeah,
right?
limonene.
Or beta myrcene, I think maybe. Hey, listen, I'm not 100% sure. Oranges are citrus and come with all kinds of fun benefits, but also black pepper, beta carotene, right? So we start to find these natural things in that we have in the house that also are found in cannabis that can kind of help us normalize and regulate some of the experience we're going through. But that's also why we talk about CBD and shit too, because it's more to the whole plant. There's a robustness to this thing. And if you would like to come in and represent your perspective on cannabis and have a meaningful conversation about where this thing's going or why it's going, I know that we've had some people talk about the THCA thing a bunch with us. I'm literally so on board with it. I back anybody who's doing it. You have to understand, I'm not trying to be some fucking vocal loudmouth to hurt anybody's whatever, but these people are, this shit's moving regardless of what we say. I think there's something that's coming in cannabis that will happen in the next couple of years that will set a standard for what the whole framework looks like. And then it will leave some people scrambling, some people will already be compliant. It might take you some licensing process. It might whatever. If you got perspective on that too, come in. Let's chat about that too. Because I'm cool with it. I like to hear about where this thing is going and how it can be effective in your life, not just as a medicine, but even as a means of surviving. How,
a business.
I mean, we got crop culture here. We got Little Bean Studio we're sitting in. We got tons of people who are so around.
Who are
Goat
positive.
is a badass. Mr. CBD is a badass.
Shout out to
Green
Mark and
Grove.
his mom right now who had pneumonia, and apparently they found a blockage in her artery. So she's going to have emergency surgery. So positive thoughts for Mark's mom.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just put that out there. Sorry if Mark, you didn't want me to say that, but like, positive thoughts.
Hey, listen, that's the whole point of why I speak in the manner that I do and why I repeat the things that I do, because that is the inevitable truth. Sometimes our health fails us or deteriorates from us, and there is a way to handle it in cannabis that is far more comfortable and far more alive than some of the ways that the world is standardly used to and comfortable taking these experiences with. And I wish Mom all the best. I hope everybody, I mean, modern science has come so far in surgeries and the ways that they can fix and repair people. I'm so on board. It's super cool. But for you to, that's why I say all the time, take your health back into your own hands, kind of gain this control again, where regardless if it's first time level paranoia because you don't know how to handle cannabis, or if it's, I've been using cannabis for my whole life and now my physical state has taken the best of me. How do I use this plant the most effective to give me a physical benefit,
Right.
but also help me be comfortable with what I'm going through and give me the patience to sit down and learn myself and learn what they just named me or called me or diagnosed me as, and then make sure we're doing the proper steps to best take care of us. And at some point we have to turn that power over to a surgeon or whatever, and
Right.
that is when it's
Unfortunately, a lot of times people are going through what you're speaking about at the very end of their life. It's important to do it now instead of it being at the very end of your life. It's just a side point.
100%. And well, shit, I mean,
You know.
when we say end of life, it scares me too, because there's hospice, and though people come out of hospice at times, right? The
Right.
very small percentages of hospice is nothing more than one of the biggest opiate pushers.
Yeah.
And fucking they literally are overdosing people in a very non-coherent way.
Mhm.
I've watched this with tons of direct personal experience. I got very I call myself fortunate. It sucks because I lost a lot of close friends, but I was fortunate enough to have some people going through end of life stuff that allowed me in. And for me to watch the cognitive space that cannabis gave them life comparatively to these slow release morphines and these Dilaudids, and they're getting put on the pumps and just hammering buttons and it's like, holy fuck balls, man. I get it to a degree, right? Because maybe it is less conscious. Maybe that's what you want to go through if that's where you're at. And I think anybody, you want to deal with your end of life how you want to. I'm fully for it. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, but I promise you from personal experience, using cannabis through end of life gives it just feels more joyful. It feels more cognitive. I've talked to people in family settings with people that I don't know and their families that I don't know, who were telling old stories that the entire family was like, we've never heard this before. And they're laughing, we're giggling, we're having the best time we've ever had. And then all of a sudden you see this like kind of heavy drop.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, holy shit. And the guy looked at me directly. I'm now speaking of one instance. The guy looked at me directly and he says, does cannabis make you like real groggy or real hazy? Like you can't, like you're not able
Cognitively
to
there.
be in control of your thoughts?
Right.
And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't think so. I said, for the last hour, we've been sitting out here laughing since you smoked a joint an hour ago. We
Right.
smoked a joint and we had a great time for an hour. Now there's this big crash, right? Now I'm not going to tell anybody anything, but so he says, but I do feel groggy. I do feel a little bit whatever. I said, you want to smoke some more? He said, honestly, no, I don't. He's like, I just want to go lay down right now. I said, okay, it's perfectly fine. And his wife was like, all right, I'll take him in. And he goes, no, you're okay. My friend Dave's going to take me. And I was like, holy shit. So I've never been in this man's house before, right? So he was cool. He's like, take me in there. I took him in there. He goes, I really just want to tell you, thanks, whatever. He goes, but yeah, I'm sorry, I got to pass out. I'm not feeling that great.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's okay. So I went out and talked to the family, and they were like, oh, what happened? They're like, oh, see, that weed's too much. And I said,
No.
no, can I ask you, does he take extended release morphine? Which I guarantee you he does at this point. That's the shit that they give everybody in hospice pretty much anyway, if you're still up and moving, or they give you the liquid shit, which is pretty direct and whatever. But in pill form, they give this extended release shit.
Right.
And they were like, oh, yeah. I said, when did he take it? Oh, well, probably, an hour or two ago. I said, right, that's when the digestive system's starting to break it down at a higher rate. Do you all see, like, we just had so much fun. We talked for an hour and a half. Everybody was laughing. You all said he was telling stories you've never heard before.
Yeah.
it was so cognitive and so clear. That was the cannabis that he just consumed.
Mm-hmm.
And when this morphine shit finally kicked in again, it dropped him to his fucking knees again. He had to go inside and lay down.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to come by. I came by 2 or 3 times as things were going down, and I could just tell the drugs were taking him, and the cannabis was like his kind of cling to,
Yeah.
like, this is my where I feel alive a little bit, where I
Right.
feel aware, where I feel cognitive, where I feel, even if it is racy, okay,
Mhm.
because I think maybe that's what he was explaining when he was telling me, am I dropping? I'm not in control of my thoughts. You become almost a zombie, right? There's no thought process, there's
Right.
nothing. I would rather have some kind of awareness. I would rather even be racing thoughts.
Yeah.
When you're at the point where maybe you might not think about anything again, or you're at these kind of end of life
Yeah.
states or whatever. And I watched it with him. I watched it with 2 other guys
Mhm.
pretty closely after that, not as in home. There was one guy that I was very in home with after him, because of family ties.
Right.
And then I got to watch it with my pops, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's just, there's a level of awareness.
Sure.
I'm not telling anybody what the fuck to do, but this is
Sure
what
you
we all do. Kinda. This is what we all do. And I think that when we're in that fear response where it's like, we don't know what to do end of life, right? Nobody really
Right.
does, right? Just be there. That's the fucking most. If I can give any advice to anybody, just be there when the shit gets fucking real, for the people that have been there for when shit got real for you.
Yeah.
And then it's nobody knows what to do, but this fucking plant is something that we've all done, and it's been a comfort for all of us. And watching it, because we gave suppositories and shit. I was willing to administer however the fuck I could to
Yeah.
keep my pops comfortable and shit. And while I was hanging out and doing my thing, it seemed like there was so much more awareness, and I would
Yeah.
disappear, and that hospice group would take over, and it was like, pump him up, you know,
Yeah.
get him as full of these drugs. And I literally had to tell my brother at one point. I said, B, I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but if one of these ladies uses the word help again, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, dude. I said, they keep coming in here using the word help
Right.
like they're some savior to some situation. You're the Grim Reaper, bitch. I ain't trying to be fucking weird about nothing, but this is what,
Right.
you came through administering that shit, and you're doing it behind the ruse of some very, I'm neutral. No, I'm not part. I'm just hospice. This is what we do. And maybe
Right.
they're tricked into believing some bullshit. Or maybe that's the level of comfort that people think is acceptable. Fucking dope them up with all these opiates and shit. But boy, let me tell you, it is not fucking conscious. It's not aware. And I just beg everybody, when the real getting gets to the getting, there's some cool ass shit that cannabis can do. THC, CBD, CBN, different methods of ingestion, I mean, I've administered, or helped people administer through feeding tubes.
Mhm.
I mean, suppositories, topicals,
Pico.
inhalants,
RSO.
fucking. I mean, there's so many. The Pashadi method.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking ways to. I mean, patches, everything.
Yeah.
So many ways to use this thing where you actually might get a benefit that isn't just some snake oil shit. It's stimulating responses in your body that naturally are happening to begin with. I
Right.
mean, our immune system is trying to fight off these negative things that are going on. Our central nervous system is trying to make us respond in a way where we feel more comfortable and joyous. Not we don't want the natural state is not to be fucking in pain or hurt or diminished or unaware. So when those are the things that are happening, gaining control of that is fun. It's invaluable.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can put a price on the cognitive awareness and the end of life stories and shit that I got to experience with people, and how much you can learn in such a short time when somebody is, comfortable, and, that's the other thing too. Make them comfortable,
Yeah.
fucking hell. Sorry I went on a rant, but I
No, it's
feel
fine.
like it's some real shit though. And I don't even know how the hell we got here, but
We were talking about edibles.
oh shit. You're right.
You're right.
Hey, M Cream, what a shout out.
And now
Y'all made me think about.
And now we're 30 minutes in.
Well, see, I probably didn't need to hit that fucking pipe one more time, but now I'm sitting back here ranting and
it's all
shit.
good.
No, I feel good though.
No, yeah.
It's good to. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I hope that everybody uses this plant, and I think there's so many fucking more applications for it that we don't even. Why would everybody have to think about using cannabis in any different application except for the one that they need, which is personal pleasure, whatever, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But
I mean, relieving medical symptoms is definitely personal pleasure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to a definite degree. And I think there's this weird thing that I see with the realest people in cannabis. I think myself, I would like to loop myself in that. Charlie and I were talking about it earlier. Mr. CBD, when I talk to him, you hear it. Chris from Crowd Culture. It's the same fucking thing. This reoccurring thing where we get more pleasure from helping people outwardly than we do inwardly. Right. Like I know how to use this thing for me, whatever, but I think I just want to do it for y'all. Right. Like I want to give. If you need the help, then I want to be there for you when you need it. And there are some people who just don't know that there are so many fucking uses for this plant. And it's when I was younger, I took in, I think it was some kind of economics class, or maybe it was lumped in with social studies or whatever. But they talked about how to give a new age to the Industrial Revolution, when they were building railroads back and forth across the fucking nation, so that everybody had work, everybody was doing something, everything was stimulated, right? We were doing fine. Cannabis to me seems like this level of thing. Everybody
1,000%.
from fucking coast to coast could be benefiting the system and stimulating the system by growing a plant that is so versatile in use that it's the same thing as like if you're being really nice by putting solar panels up and trying to whatever, if that's your level of being green and whatever, we could do the same thing and giving back to the world by growing cannabis plants instead of chopping down fucking trees. If more people were growing hemp fibers and whatever, instead of having all of the nasty shit that comes from and pharmaceutical use is fine. There's some pharmacy shit that's perfectly fine, but the overdose thing from it is unbelievable. So the medical application of it, the food application of it, we don't even talk about
the plastic, the replacement of plastics.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, shout out to Kif Cure and their new dining experience. Their it's so cool. Did you see pictures of that?
I did.
Oh yeah, it's super cool.
I've been a fucking bum, dude. I haven't even been in there. I haven't talked to anybody. I've got a lot going on personal. I think that's a
I don't even think
agreement
I don't think they watch anyway.
No, that's okay. I'm not worried about it. I feel, I have some obligation to say hello every once in a while, but
they're on their honeymoon right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they finally, I guess, stopped and took a honeymoon, so they're going to be gone for a minute. Yeah, so good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Who's running tonight?
I have no idea. No, there's no tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, I was wrong.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I just there's a lot of really cool uses for the thing.
I was just saying, somebody in our local area, not just that we know them, but like their stuff is really cool and they're doing some really cool things.
Oh
yeah, that's all I was saying.
Bro, I just that's my whole point to it. I wish that we all were in understanding of each other's space, because we all could help and benefit. This thing is not competitive, it's community.
Yeah, well,
Right? And
that's something we've always
we've been
said.
saying that thing a lot lately. It's been a
There's
repeated theme.
there's room at the table for everybody to eat. You know, some people just have big feelings. Some people may talk the talk, but not. See, you got to pay attention to how people act when they actually when things get that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you can talk the talk, but like actually doing the hard thing is, and we say that all the time. Doing the hard thing is the hard thing.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to do it. They don't want to do the inner work. They don't want to, empathize with people or understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. So pay attention to what people do when it does get shitty.
Yeah.
And take them that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the people that we love and continue to work with that are about the right thing.
I
those are the people I want to surround myself with. Everybody else I just
what I think was really cool
me.
too, I was just talking to Charlie and he was like, "Bro, I just don't want there doesn't even need to be conflict with
Right.
anybody ever anywhere. Everybody, we should all be so on the same fucking
Yeah.
page and all working together. There is so much space for all of us." And to not be utilizing it correctly, and I just more to poo-poo on it and to
support dope people.
We're a community.
Love green culture.
We're a
You know what I
fucking
mean?
community. We got this shit. We actually had the potential to do some very cool shit so that we can pass on knowledge and existability to like our future also. Right? Like, a lot of people have goals and hopes and ambitions, and I think a lot of them are achievable. It's navigating the space at this point. It's festering the relationships and making everybody feel comfortable, and some really cool people are doing that. Some really cool people have brought a bunch of people together and said, let's have the community, let's have the talks. What do we need to do to progress this thing to make it so that, and also too, don't be shy. Tell me what you might need to, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us, that's what we ask you too. Where do you need some help in what you're doing with cannabis? So that what ties do you need? Who do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? Do you need, because there's different places. Or do you need somewhere on the supply chain? Do you need somewhere on the manufacturing chain? What are you into? What do you need? Because it all exists out here. Let's just,
And there's solutions. Like, I was saying that somewhere recently that like, just speak your truth. You know what I mean? Say what it is that your problem is. Don't make it be anonymous. You know what I mean? Like, there's people out here who can help you, and you never know who might know somebody. You really never know.
I think because of the old school culture of cannabis, the kind of we have to be quiet about things, right? Do you remember? So like you these times. This is, we all come from this, right? Like we used to have to go to a guy's house and sit there for 30, 45 minutes before you could leave every time. There was a kind of more quiet, communal, we're a friendship, this is us together thing, so that you could even exist in the space. Right? It wasn't so smash and grab, run inside, yell at the bud tender, tell him this shit sucked last time, your shit sucked, give me the shit and get out. Like, it's gotten a little bit of murkiness put on top of it, where
Sure.
Let's re-bring together the proper culture of this thing.
Make it what you want it to be.
And and a lot of people are doing really great things in their space, bringing it together, showing the light of it. So many oh man, I do love cannabis, and I love being part of this group. And thanks for making this happen. Thanks, Charlie, for giving us a space to talk about it. Thank you for letting me unload my mind about whatever I kind of want to, but there's cool things happening in the world, but there's very cool things happening right here
Yeah.
in the couches, right? Like so, and in your world, sometimes when we're talking news and
Yeah.
shit, we're bringing headline news kind of to a degree. We're bringing a perspective at it, but
Yeah.
a lot of the shit you guys are doing is bigger news to the local community and to the, you know, what will actually make this thing take it to the next level. And some of you are laying infrastructure down and
Yeah.
writing the rules in the back end. You know, giving the plants their fucking life. Even I
Yeah.
mean, bringing the plant straight to life and then molding it into everything that it can be, and including just community and shit.
Just
So
community. And that's why we exist. You know what I mean? Like, is try to support the people in the community who are doing cool things. You watching you on your live stream, that's sitting back and listening and just very little interjection and just listening to you talk about what you talk about. It's like what you just did is really inspiring, and that's what inspired me to, you know, to
yeah,
do this as
I
well.
appreciate it.
Because I think your message is important. I think it's important to highlight people who are, doing awesome things.
Yeah, I like to do it like everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like every end of the spectrum. I love seeing the people who are making it happen, but also love the people who are going through the absolute fucking worst of it
Yeah.
too. And that's what I think Charlie's kind of message was earlier. Like maybe they're just going through some shit,
Yeah.
and how do we help them, bro? You shouldn't feel that kind of pressure from me. This is family. This is community. This is like we're all doing our thing together.
Hmm.
We shouldn't have to feel that. So, um, yeah, I think just really um, supporting dope people is a great message. I'm fully behind it.
Yeah.
But support all people.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
what support dope
that's
people means. Support everybody. You know what I
it's
mean?
and
Like
if you
even if you don't like them, if they're doing something cool, then you should support them and try and find a way to support them. I'm not saying like, you know, like really go over the top hard. I'm just saying like if they're doing something cool, you should support that.
yeah, and I yeah
Even if it sucks.
yeah
But
and
that's part of the thing too.
yeah, even then
I mean,
having
just like
the
personally sucks. Where you're just like, "Ugh, I don't wanna, but like you got to, because
well,
that's the community that we need to have.
but that's I think too where the
Because you're not going to
benefit
get
of
along with everybody.
But, but even then, having the cognitive ability to understand, and that's what like even when I was talking to Charlie earlier, he kept saying he was like, "Dude, it doesn't matter." Because I kept rebuttaling. I said there are times when people
Yeah.
have hardened views. They're very stern in what they do, and they're not willing to learn something new, right?
Right.
Like that, and to me that sucks because I don't know anything is probably one of the best state of minds to be in, right?
Right.
Know everything, keep fucking trying to learn more every day, try
Yep.
to suck in as much knowledge as you can.
Every day.
But if you get hardened in your ways and callous in your ways and you say this is it, this is the only way
Yeah.
possible, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to be the guy, especially if you're some brick wall or you even if you seem like you might want to take it to the next level
Yeah.
of actually arguing or physically getting fucking aggressive towards things, get the hell out of here with that. Right? We're a bunch of grown, intelligent creatures.
Carbon
Y- y-
beings,
y-
all at a certain temperature, existing on this spinning ball. We're
eh,
all the same. It's just
That's kind of
noise.
it brings into what I kind of was talking about, the other day with um somebody. They were talking about anxiety
Hmm.
and paranoia and whatever. And I said, listen, the thing is, when your mind has taken control, it's thrown you into a place and you keep fucking looping on shit.
Sure.
If it's a negative thought, your mind has to be in control enough to look at that and go, that is negative. That's a shitty way to think about things, right? I have to have more perspective than to just get so narrowed off. And when you get super narrowed off, the reason why you feel anxiety at times is because your brain is only able to go to certain responses
Hmm.
for the impulse. And the only thing you can do, because your brain is like trying to figure out, send this impulse into a new spot
Right.
that actually resolves what I'm going through.
Right.
And since you're only firing at that one space that is sending back the signal back and forth,
Hmm.
just you are looping on shit, you are anxious. The best way to try, and that's why I think cannabis is great. Even when I was talking to the girlfriend the other day, I said, when those anxious moments, they might not be bad. It might be an okay thing for you to go through real anxious, paranoid experiences for you to go, wait a minute, I'm okay. I came out of it okay. I woke up in the morning, I was fine. I was a little bit more on edge maybe, but I was fine. And to live in it and to go, okay, but why was I experiencing that level of
So
rapid thought
you're
and or whatever?
describing mindful meditation. So
I'm
it's
I'm
the practice of going to the thought. A lot of people are like, I'm not good at meditation. I'm like, that's the point. That's why you have to practice, because you have to like let your mind get to the point and go, nope, I am going to reset. And you make that conscious choice to reset. And resetting, doing that is the mindfulness. And then when you're in the other emotion, when you're not meditating, you've already practiced going to a thought and going, nope, stop, reset. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
And it even goes back to our last podcast where we talked about how cannabis actually can help the neuroplasticity of the brain, you know, in
100%.
in doing the things. So when you're
It helps
high,
the rewiring.
that's how it brings this in mindful meditation. You know, so you're using cannabis, you're applying lubrication, say, to your brain to make it easier to do the thing as you practice doing it. You know what I mean? Same thing going through it when you're on edibles, you got racing thoughts. It's important to go through it and go stop. You know what I mean? Because then it's easier to get through it in daily life when you're not.
That's what, and that it ties straight
Yep.
back to what I started off kind of talking about here, was that you know, if you are going through those anxious responses, if
Hmm.
you are feeling these things, how do we handle it again? How do
Yep.
we gain the control? How do we stay on top of? Think about us. Neither one of us wants to hurt you, right? Like
Right.
if you're listening to this at this point, I think you probably understand it to a degree,
Yeah.
but like can't and I think for the people who are listening, you probably are cannabis consumers at a regular pace. So you're
Yeah.
like, no, this makes sense, but um and you would probably never shy away from it. But there are some very um we know it. The experiences that you
Yeah.
have with cannabis in the thought process
Yeah.
is it's different than what you can get in some other things available out there. There is a very conscious experience and reaction to it. If my mind's racing too much, it's because it's firing and being used in ways that it hasn't been. And maybe we've overstimulated it, but in that overstimulation, what did we find from it that gave us benefit? Because a lot of times it does benefit us some way, even if it helps us just sleep better,
Right.
right? Maybe get away from the fear of what the cannabis was, because you wake up from it again
Hmm.
and you go, okay, wait, well, I woke up from it, no problem,
Right.
but my back felt kind of good. I slept really well.
Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm gonna go get some breakfast, get
Hmm.
my day going. I kind of feel
Right.
rejuvenated. I feel new, whatever. So then, there's that in the initial response, but for consistent users, we
Yeah.
kind of build the tolerance level to it. And then we go, oh, well, I'm not feeling it anymore. Oh, I'm not whatever. And what we're doing is just kind of shutting off again
Yeah.
The thoughts. So be aware that maybe we're getting callous, and it's not that cannabis is just some always gonna fucking work because we use it all the time thing.
Right.
Sometimes we got to take some step back from it. Sometimes we got to alter the way that we use it to get the maximum benefit to actually help us grow, because that's the only thing is, like, to me, constant and never ending improvement. Once CANI was a acronym that a guy showed me once, and he said constant and never ending improvement.
Yeah.
So this is today is just today,
Yep.
right? Yesterday you learned some shit, implement it, be smart about it, go, okay, that's what I went through.
Yeah.
How do I make it better today? Well, better includes your attitude towards it, better includes your knowledge of it, better includes, it's not nobody wants to say, okay, tomorrow's better, and then I'm getting
And
more
then it's
calloused
not.
off to some shit. I'm more cold about some stuff. I'm more, anxious or paranoid about shit. The fuck is, so I don't think that's the commonality,
Right.
but I think a lot of us take for granted, because we're like, oh, well, we consume cannabis all day, every
Yeah.
day. We take for granted that maybe it's not, maybe we've done too damn much too, for a minute of the
Yeah.
consuming part of it. Not that you can't consume it, go every day, go hard. If that's what you want to do, you want to be the biggest smoker ever, fine. But if now you shut off your ability to grow,
Mhm.
to push
Personally.
yourself to
Yeah.
the next level, if you are comfortable in your anxieties, your paranoias, you're comfortable in your ways, you're set in your ways, you're not willing to experience the outside, and hey, I think everybody's perfectly fine. Protect your ideas, make sure you're doing the best with them
Yeah.
and whatever, but um if you're shutting yourself off because of, some things too, it's just you can constantly and never-endingly improve, and cannabis can be used proactively in that, and sometimes cannabis might not be the most proactive method
Yeah.
of, 'cause
Maybe
some
it's
people are,
psilocybin.
hey,
Maybe it's MDMA. Maybe it's ketamine. You should do it all
shit,
with
there's
do
all
it all with
kinds of
therapy,
treatments, yeah.
guided,
I
trip sitter,
I would
whatever.
love nothing more than to sit down with
We
some
actually have somebody we're gonna sit down with.
yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk
we got
about some
some.
chemicals and
We got some
shit.
bad motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm into that.
I know.
I like the mind exploration part,
Yeah.
and the when I say a lot of times take your health back into your own hands, when I talk about health, if you ask me what health is, health number one is your thought process.
Yeah.
It's your mind. If you're not in control of your fucking mind, you are not in control of anything. You're not taking the next steps to get better and to improve. And y'all, we ain't getting any younger. Today's a good day to start taking the fucking reins,
Yeah.
get in there and do some shit. And it's very comfortable. They've made it very comfortable in the world that we exist to just veg out, man. To just get mindless about some of the things that we do, to not put in the excessive effort because it's so easily done. You can go do some menial kind of nothing
Yeah.
thing, and as long as you give some effort outward, you get a level of existence, which is perfectly fine. I
Yeah.
believe you should, but they've done it to make you very complacent and very just don't be complacent.
Yeah.
Improve your damn.
Find something you're passionate about and work towards it.
That's
Whatever
I mean,
it is.
you get me off on a tangent
Mhm.
again. I'll talk about fucking Earl Nightingale and shit. But no, I think it's finding out that
Yeah.
that thing that drives you. The Strangest Secret. If you haven't heard me say that yet, you should. Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. It's a beautiful piece, but progressively realizing a worthy ideal. All right. Understand that what you're working towards is worth it.
Yeah.
Understand that some people, like we've talked about, will probably have different perspectives than you, but
Mhm.
we're not trying to hurt each other through it.
Right.
Don't be so damn hard, right? Like, that's the thing with cannabis. I think it's a little bit more calm. We're a little bit easier to go, oh, that's kind of fucked up. I don't know if I like that or not, but I smoked on it. And now that I'm rethinking about it, you know what? That's actually a fucking great idea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to steal the man's idea or anything, but how do I help them instead?
Right.
Where at first, things that we're not aware of, things that we don't have much knowledge on, things that are intimidating or scary, we react in such a way. We pull back, we go, oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle all of that. And some people respond in a way that is defensive and like we need to fight over it. There's no opposition in this, right? I think in a very constructive thought process, something like can I we can't be against each other. We got to be on the same page. You know, I love fucking life, bro.
Hell yeah.
I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy that cannabis is a real fucking thing.
Yep.
I'm super pumped about chilling on a couch. I feel like having a life talk in here,
Hell yeah.
you know?
We're gonna shout out to all the things we'll be able to do
Oh, it's gonna
here. You know what I mean?
it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. There's definitely people that want to talk to us, people that we want to talk to, and this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice to have a space. I mean, they're donating the space, and
Yeah.
they're everything is very coolly set up so that this is not some I don't know. We're trying to actually be raw and real,
Yeah.
bring some real fucking people, have some real ass conversations. Let's talk about how we can better whatever space it is, including, I mean, I'm fine to talk the economic space of this too. I don't
Yeah.
mind that. I love.
We just want to improve and cultivate Illinois cannabis culture in the space that we're allowed in. You know what I mean? Because we talk a lot of news sometimes, and a lot of it seems negative. But it's just so that people are aware of what the rules that are coming are, or and so that you can think about it and better react to whatever it is that you do in whatever space that you're in. You know what I mean? If you're comfortable in the space you're in, that's awesome.
I think we've seen him just over the last few weeks while we've been talking, we've developed on this THCA thing to a point of probably a bit more clarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we've actually dived into, and I think it's something very important to talk about. I think it's something to understand. And if people are saying, no, it's hush, hush, it's whatever, that is the cannabis culture in you. That's I need to go to my guy's house and sit there for 30, 45 minutes and talk to him. This shit is plainly laid out in lawful manner, where if you interpret the law in a certain way, and that's why they're trying to add the resolutions to the laws that they're doing, and that's what we've been seeing, right?
Yeah.
That the reason they want to add these resolutions that include verbiage that would, include THCA, Delta 9,
and
Delta 8, things of that
any
nature.
undiscovered cannabinoids in the future as well.
You know what I mean? We know that that's something they're trying to do, but we talk about it because, as Aaron has said many times, the way that sometimes you have to approach this is to go be on the ground and talk to the representatives, to say the things to the people, to get in front of a camera and try your fucking hardest to speak to as many people as you can. How do you become more discoverable? How does your message become more valid? How do you validate and get out what you're trying to do? And I think that my underlying message to this whole thing is to normalize cannabis to an understanding where we don't have to have regulation to the capacity that we do. Which this is the thing. They build on regulation, right? So all that shit that they've already laid down, they're just going to amend it and try and make some new shit. The problem is not they don't go in and get rid of the whole fucking thing. Say that's stupid than hell. That's old archaic words. Let's use some new words that really fucking kind of bring it into what we need it to look like. So the groundwork is already laid. We see some of the path that we have to go if this is a space that we want to exist in. But we also see what the potential is if the proper laws get made, right? And that's why we talk about the laws a lot. So I think because it's very important to understand who's saying what. As much as fuck politics,
Yep.
because that's kind of how I feel to some degree. If you're not paying attention to the bigger picture, because that somehow is the bigger picture, then you will probably have that hang out at the guy for 30 or 45 minutes feel for the rest of your time. You're
Yep.
going to hear me say THCA and freak the fuck out. Don't say that. I'm trying to do something with it. Don't. Bro, we all are trying to do something with it. Everybody's trying to figure out how to make it the right thing. But
Right.
normalize this thing. Fuck recreational or medical. It's cannabis use. How do we most properly use cannabis as a
Right.
whole? How do we use it the most effectively, where actually, again, all the way down to the plastics and the fibers of the thing, the grain in it,
Yep.
the nutrients, the out, and that's
The
outside of the
feed for fish.
stimulation of number one, which all of us are just trying to take care of, is getting yourself through day to day, which we
Yeah.
have to do to make it to the next day, or to please anybody else. You have to take care of yourself. How do we use it internally? I mean, that's the whole thing. There's so many layers. And, please, if you're out there listening still and you have anything to do, and I think probably the people that are listening more
Mhm.
are either interested in getting in the space,
Yeah.
which, please ask away. I have plenty of ways. I don't think that spending your time on the front lines, starting to understand some level of this,
Yeah.
is bad. Get into the space of where you want to be in the space of it.
Yeah.
I even go work at a dispensary, go work at a grow shop. If those are the things you'd rather do, is work with cannabis on that way. If not, there's plenty of hemp companies in the world. There's plenty of
Yep.
people out there who would love to have you come help them. And they have entry level stuff, but you have to understand, if we're just starting new, we're entry level. We have to go through the grind and
Yeah.
get to the point. That's fine. That's okay. Be willing to put your time in if that's what you want to do. But also, if you are listening here and you understand this thing
Yeah.
at a different level, you might probably be able to excel faster. But if you're not here as somebody new, you probably have something going on in this space that is worth sitting down and talking about.
Yeah.
And I beg you,
Yeah. Hit me up.
let's
Hit me up
chat.
on Instagram.
Let's
You see me at the events.
let's get some people in here
Yeah.
that and even then, I'm not opposed to, if you are a medical patient and you
Yeah.
want to come sit down
Yeah.
and talk to us about cannabis and hear the perspective from, we'll pull up your local dispensary menu.
Yeah.
We'll have some conversation about what, or uh whatever I can be of assistance in knowledge wise, and whatever you think that maybe I should polish up my understanding of too. I'm perfectly fine with that. I have been
Yeah.
really kind of pushing back into, I like learning again, man. It feels good on my
It
brain.
does.
Holy shit, does it feel good to the brain to
So I
to
like this. I like learning the editing stuff. I like
Yeah.
learning the
Yep. It's
the recording stuff. It's fun.
it feels rewarding.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to implement it in the most effective
Yeah.
way. And I don't know if that's in because we edit it properly. I don't know if that's in because we push it out there to wherever. I saw some really cool shit, and I'll show you. Actually, we can look at it together. Google's doing some really cool promotion shit.
Mhm.
Fucking YouTube's doing some really cool promotion stuff. And you know, being able to get your name out there
Yeah.
is not a bad thing. And I want to, that's what we're trying to fester here. Hopefully you're liking and subscribing, telling your
Yeah.
friends, doing the whole bit. But
I love seeing everybody repost it on Instagram when the episodes come out. Because, like, honestly, and I've talked about this, like, we don't do much SEO. Like, we're just kind of organic because,
Sick.
like, if we have to get in and, like, make it all our day job to edit and do the SEO and think about that and worry about that, like, that's not fun.
I've,
You know what I
I've,
mean?
I've,
There's an amount of it, but, like,
me and Aaron have been talking about some stuff about learning shit anyway. I was
Yeah.
talking about taking some classes, so we've been talking about that. But I'll show you some of that where literally just we're in an age where we should be doing more AI,
Yeah.
that stuff,
Mhm.
so that we can get down and do what we should be doing, which isn't, editing and shit shouldn't be necessarily
Right.
where if you're trying to fester relationships, you're going out there, you're rubbing elbows with
Exactly.
everybody. I'm trying to retain as much knowledge as I can. I'm trying to read up on things.
Mhm.
I'm trying to scour for the information from
Right.
different sources. And I enjoy cannabis. Just, if
Yeah.
we can make it so that we were doing the thing so that we could best represent what our passion is,
Yeah.
that's, so AI
Oh yeah.
is going to be a big part of kind of the next wave of, I think, what
Oh yeah.
comes to kind of help
I've been
automate
exploring
some
a lot of
shit.
that too. Like there's some AI stuff that uh, integrates with the editing process that I use. The transcripts are AI. The summaries on YouTube are mostly AI. Like I rewrite those a little bit, tweak them.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But it's mostly like because I mean to like be forced to like think and write a summary every time. I don't always. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, and
it's super cool.
it's nice that, transcribing the thing into different languages and stuff
Yeah.
too, because this means I know there's a lot
Shout out
going on
to
here,
like
but
one person in Saudi Arabia I saw using the Saudi Arabian closed captions on one of our videos.
that's so awesome.
No lie. I was like, oh, okay, snap.
That is so
Yeah.
awesome. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, we were talking. Oh man, I go in rabbit holes again, but we were just talking about this communicating on a farther level, understanding
Yeah.
this thing, not being so closed off, not being so whatever. I don't know how you feel about it or not. I watched some of the Tucker Carlson Putin thing, and some of the points that you take out of things is that there's always a different perspective from somewhere else, and regardless of what the perspective is or what's going on, we probably should be communicating.
I
All
mean,
of
that's
us.
not to get super political, but uh I don't think there was anything probably I didn't watch the interview yet, but it's like when the Osama bin Laden's letter that was published on the Guardian and on the New York Times or whatever, like why we hate America or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, it's not to like justify anything he did, but like when somebody tells you, like, hey, these are the things that, like, here are my grievances, like, you should probably listen to them.
Yeah.
They didn't attack us because they hate our freedoms.
Yeah.
They attacked us because we've been bombing them and, killing poor brown people, on the other side of the world for 20 years before that. You know what I mean? Moving NATO to Russia's literal doorstep seems like a provocation to me. So
He said that he tried to join NATO.
yeah,
Do you know what the fuck if it's against them invading the other side, they said they want to be on the side of. It was a weird thing. Like my brain couldn't quite wrap around.
I'm sure he did.
I was like, wait, what? Is that even fucking true? And then I went, wait a minute. That's when it was in the Clintons' time.
Yeah.
We know what the fuck happened then. They were fucking arms dealing like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But I just, it fucks me up to think that, like, for this weird, because that's how they plan on making money, is killing more people.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know about it. Why we're not using our resources to
Help
educate
people.
and give, like I said, I mean, the hemp plant and the cannabis plant as tools for survivability, but not only survivability, but community and shit, to get away from this fighting thing, to stop the fucking you're different than I'm different bullshit. It doesn't really go far. I don't know, when you really are able to sit down and have a conversation, right? Through interpretation is all interpretable, right?
But that's what the conversation is for, is to let the other person know what your perspective or your experience is, and either they empathize with that and you can come to an agreement or an understanding, or they could just say whatever they think and then go feel a certain other way. But like the point is that if you're actively engaging in good faith with somebody else, you should, be honest and truthful,
Well,
and
and
try and be empathetic.
I think through
You know what I mean? Yeah.
conversation, it's easier to feel authenticity
Yeah.
than it is through somebody else's interpretation. And
Sure.
that's why that's why Aaron and I try to give
Yeah.
you our interpretation from people who have experienced cannabis from a personal level. I worked in frontline medical and recreational cannabis through the startup of both of the industries. Spent like 5+ years doing that shit. And I, I just think that like, the perspective that you and I have
Hmm.
towards this thing comes from a not biased I mean, maybe to our own kind of rhetoric, whatever, but that's, I think, checks and balances
Yeah.
across the couch, right? But I I think we come probably more from an authentic, I care about this thing because it cared about me so
Right.
much. It gave me love that I didn't
Hmm.
feel from other places at times. And I have seen it bring love
Yep.
in places where other fucking things weren't working, where trouble was constantly in the face of. I saw cannabis bring community and communication to a level of acceptance
Yep.
that doesn't happen with regularity or with manipulated interpretation,
Right.
which is what I think a lot of what we see sometimes is somebody else's perspective. And but if you're pushing an agenda, if you're pushing people to have radicalized thoughts
Hmm.
so that they stay on your platform for longer, so that they subscribe to you, so that they use you to watch the ads or the
Yeah.
whatever, then they're succeeding more. They're making the fucking money,
Right.
and it doesn't matter. All right, they will trash. They're using your thoughts against you at times, and I think that that's what this whole thing kind of as an infinity loop that this
Hmm.
conversation has been on. When you use cannabis to control your fucking thoughts, to
Yeah.
gain control, and for you to slow down, to get that comfortable fucking space that we all know cannabis gives us, to slow the thoughts down and to go, wait a minute, there might be a different fucking perspective here.
Yeah.
Somebody else actually existed in this. Why am I so fucking radicalized? Why do I feel so worked up and emotionally charged by whatever is happening? I don't have actually a great perspective on it. I don't have a great understanding of it. So, unless I get the information directly from the source, which
Hmm.
is why listening to that conversation with Putin was
Yeah.
wild to me, because it came right out of the goat's mouth and you could fucking hear
And that's
the
why
the
they didn't want him.
authenticity.
Yeah, that's why the media put out so much saying, just talking points about, how he's propagandist and how this person's that or that person's that. And why would you listen to a murderer? Blah, 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 blah. Because they don't want you to listen to the perspective. Because if you listen to that person's perspective, the whole narrative just falls apart.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
1000%.
Because they don't want you to have empathy. They want you to have hatred for somebody else.
Well, and that's the individuality. That's why, and even then, if we think about it, there's no way that all these small individual governments or whatever that small individual, they're huge, whatever, but that take care of the different parts and are making their buddies all their money and doing
Right.
all the shit, want to go, okay, we'll just let this other guy fucking hang out in our good old boys club.
Right.
And that's what we see at a high level that
Yeah.
ends up being very fucking weird and causes that war shit. And fucking for all of us kind of cannabis folk who are sitting back going,
Yeah.
wait a fucking minute, man. Now, I know we might have been people sticking fucking flowers in the ends of guns and
Oh, well,
shit.
fuck them motherfuckers at
Yeah,
Kent State anyway.
yeah, well, fucking, hey,
when the government killed its own citizens at a college.
Yeah,
You know,
100%. That well, hey,
don't forget that. Don't forget Ruby Ridge.
well, bro,
You know,
and I, it was really weird to hear, because I think at one point, and maybe this was the afterthought, because I do not mind listening to Tucker Carlson speak about some things. He has some perspectives on
I mean,
things.
he's got the biggest show in the world. You know, he's got bigger ratings than all the, MSNBC and CNN combined. Still,
Yeah, he
regardless
brings.
of what you might say about the views on Twitter, how they're counted or whatever.
Yeah, well,
I should put our stuff on Twitter too.
1000%
Maybe even
on
Rumble.
X.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Whatever. I don't care. It's Twitter.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, I have a like a OG Twitter account from like 2009, 2010.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was OG Twitter. Like that was back with like Foursquare and like checking into places.
Jesus.
And yeah, that was pretty cool. I erased a lot of my online life. I used to do that periodically. I try to maintain some anonymous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anonymity.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't say that for a second.
Yeah. I've been hiding a lot of the streams here recently. I'm only letting some of the older ones that kind of felt more
Yeah.
knowledge based sit around for too long. It's just more that I want to make sure that I'm representing the proper thing all the time.
Oh yeah,
And
you
sometimes
get a
when
little
I'm
you get a little
hanging out, I get wild.
some of those old ones you get a little wild.
I get a little wild in a lot of them. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say some wild
Those
shit.
early summer ones.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you didn't even like tell me you were streaming. Like we knew each other from disc golf, and I just found out when they're like, "Oh yeah, Dave streamed tonight." I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I've
I was
always
like
been
I was
kind of
like
shy about it, I think, to a degree.
25 streams in or something. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say that I'm slightly shy about it. But it's not. It's because they're the people that are so readily available and clicking
Yeah.
through the thing at this point, and what I see selling on Facebook
Yeah.
and YouTube and whatever, the things that people are clicking on is like people hitting blinkers. I spent $10,000 at the dispensary today.
Nico.
I got all these different packs.
Love you,
And
Nico.
yeah. Oh no, I love Nico to death. But and that's the thing that's breeding clicks and views and whatever. I am trying so hard to stay real about
Yeah.
what actually is
Yeah.
like what I'm passionate about, which is
Well, I mean,
using
that's why
this thing as beneficially as you
that's
can.
why you see all the big creators are quitting YouTube right now because it's not actually sustainable. Look at Tom Scott, look at Reggie Rebuilds, look at what is it, Lincoln Rhett.
Yep,
Look at Lincoln Rhett. Other people in the gardening space are quitting YouTube because they see what's coming and what YouTube is doing. Because that's what's getting the clicks is the like
with the AI
clickbaity stuff.
and that's fine, but don't underestimate the.
But that's why we do what we do for the passion.
Well, but also too building the community. You build your community. Why do we don't need? I don't. That's I think been the other thing for me too. I don't need anybody else to show up unless you want to. You want to. You feel like you got some. You would like to hang out. You want to figure some shit out. I just want to be available for when you need something.
Yeah.
And I want to present, and that's why the next big push. And I think wait until the summer comes because I think I'm just gonna do more recording outside than indoors.
Nice.
I still don't have a good indoor space. This is great, but I need like a space. Anyway, yeah, I've got to put down the groundworks of what I believe you should use cannabis medically for. There's something different when used the correct way.
Yep.
And I I hope I can add my perspective and my place in this world, and I don't want it to be because I'm very good at taking bong rips.
Yeah. That's not the cannabis culture we're necessarily interested in. I mean, there's room for it. There's a space for it. We've talked about it before, about it being part of the popular culture and almost needed to push the culture and normalize it more. But that's not necessarily what we're interested in.
That's going to, like I said, if I could get a small community, if I get one person that listens that goes, fuck, I actually started using CBD the right way because I listened to you. I started to
Oh, we have.
use my methods of ingestion the right way. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The individuals who come to me and say, I actually have heard something
Yeah.
meaningful,
That's
it
what we do it
means
for.
infinitely
Yep.
more to me than
Monetization or
I give a
like,
fuck about
because
that.
that's not why we do it, because there's none.
I would love to find a level of sustainability, and I'm even going back looking for maybe some full-time work and shit so that I can build another bankroll to get into a place, where I can start exhausting more funds
Yeah.
into what I hope to do, which is, again, I think be part of the normalization of this culture to let people understand that there is more to it
Yep.
than one thing, and that there is more of an everything going on here. And I you know, fuck me, dude, we're dropping shit. I just hope that I can,
Mm.
let's bring some people together.
Yeah.
If you're out there listening, again, please hit us up. Let's get together.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with us. We didn't get to any news today, but we do discuss cannabis news and culture, and that is culture right there.
Hey,
And that's okay.
yeah. It's the first one on the
Yeah.
couches.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new introduction to something of
Right.
an old space. And I think that from getting different people in this space to come in,
Yeah.
we will find the news that is most up to date and
Yep.
most relevant to what is going on in your space.
Yep.
Also, we can have a get to know each other topic or get section, and then let's do a fucking a news thing, and then let's do a highlight what you're going through thing, and let's fucking
Yeah.
let's build up this normalcy over cannabis, taking us all someplace.
Yeah.
And then also introduce yourself, because a lot of us just don't know each other. A lot of us, again, like me, I'm intimidated legitimately. That's why I say I'm not maybe intimidated. Well, maybe in some intimidation, but I'm shy to put myself out there. I don't want to go, hey, I am that guy. I want people to be like, hey,
Put your
what's up
friends
with you?
on.
Like, whatever.
Put-
And that's
Put dope people in your community doing cool things. Put them on.
that's it.
That's it. Support dope people. Yeah. So that's it for today. We love you all. Hope you enjoyed.
Thanks for
Peace.
Thanks again, Charlie and Rochelle.
Yeah.
And bro.
Hell yeah.
The couch life, this
Yeah,
I
this is
get
dope.
down with.
I like this.
I need to do more recording from a couch.